I spent 3 months in Medellin, Colombia this 2024, and then I spent a month in Mexico City, Mexico, but that was my second time there. After a decent amount of time in each of these increasingly popular tourist destinations, here is what I personally think are some of the differences. This is mainly opinion based, but you might find that a lot of people agree. Both of these cities have a booming food scene. The restaurants are plentiful in both cities, but when it comes to whose food I like more in general, Mexico is taking it. I have consistently good, flavorful, spicy meals here. My taste palette is happy. In comparison to Medellin, where they do certain things well, like arepa de chocolo, menú del día, sancocho, and sweets, but I had more hit or miss experiences in Medellin, mainly miss, because a lot of the food was bland. They would tell you straight up they do not like spice. And this is not about Colombian food in general, because Cartagena had great meals, but Medellin was just very inconsistent with the food. Medellin was typically more affordable than Mexico City, despite the gentrification in both cities. And I'm speaking about nearly all levels, such as housing, transportation, beauty services, food. But this does make sense because I recently found out Mexico does have a pretty strong economy. When it comes to who Spanish is easier to understand, I'm giving that to Mexico City because I feel like generally Mexicans speak more clearly and more paced generally. Because trust me, I know they use a lot of slang and I've heard my fair share of hard accents. But in Medellin, hablan como una canción, more. And I just felt like they spoke so fast and I had to constantly ask them to repeat themselves. And while we're on the topic of communication, this will be less detailed for the sake of time, but I feel as though in Mexico City they are more kind. Whereas in Medellin, there were a few instances, but one, for example, is like my friend being in Comuna 13 and dropping her food before even getting to eat it, by the way. And then the man being like, I literally don't care. I'm not even gonna give you a sample. You'll have to get another one. And I know I'm not being a brat because I know more of the detailed situations, but I guess I'll just be feeling like a princess in Mexico City. I don't know. Lastly, let's talk about being Black in these cities. In Medellin, if you don't speak, they'll probably just assume you're Afro-Colombian. There is a huge population of Black people in Colombia as a whole. And in Mexico City, don't get me wrong, I think these are some of the sweetest people on earth, but they'll definitely look at you and probably ask you for pictures.